what happens when a human dies?
Yes. And as we are saying, you are in the third dimension and you are moving out of this dimension when you leave the vehicle for which you are in and walking in. And as you do, you move on to the transition plane. That energy, that soul which is within you, releases from this body and moves on to the transition plane. And on that transition plane, you are accompanied by your guide. But your guide stands at afar in order to give you the room to awaken in that moment, awaken in that space. And if you do not disconnect from what is in this plane, in this dimension, if you are connected to the past, or if you don't fully realize that you have transitioned on, then there is something you have to release, and there is something you still have not learned from this plane that is holding you to it. And as you work through those, and as you look back on your life and see the choices you made and what you learned and how you've grown as a soul, your guide will then try to help you understand the transition and, in a sense, help you to disconnect from the path that you have walked and help you to transition back to your true form, leaving behind the pain, leaving behind the choices and the judgment, and only taking with you the knowledge, the growth, the love, all truths of who you are, and the ever-loving, unconditional love for which you move back to is the source, is God. And as you return from that pure energy to the purest of energy, then you have the choice to move on to different dimensions if you choose, or you choose not to go anywhere. As you were with the Creator of all knowing, it is you who move on to different dimensions to learn. It is you who move on to expand and experience. As you come from this experience, move on to others. And it is the dimensions that you move on to that have different vibrations. And so you must accompany onto one and then raise your vibration as you move on to the next and the next and the next. But all the while, continuing to go back to the source. And while you are in that dimension, never being away from the source, because it is within you. And there you do not die. You transition. And in this plane, you are alive as you ever been, and you will not die. You will move on to your true self, and you are just in this plane trying to find your true self and purpose before that happens.
For those that are still on this plane and are dealing with grief due to the loss of a loved one, do you have any advice or recommendation for those people who are still here after someone passes?
Yes. The passing of a loved one, someone that you have been close to or haven't, the emotion and the grief that brings up for those who are left behind is really the important part in your life to learn from, to go through that experience and to become stronger out of it, and to not let the grief of losing somebody cause you to lose yourself in your life and to stay lost for the remainder of it. Instead, learn that the loved one that has left you has not left you at all. They have just returned to their purest form. And they look out for you. They come back and look over you. And they anticipate your return as well. But to honor that passing, to honor that soul, is to honor the remainder of your journey, and to become the best of you, and to make your life the best it can be, because that's all they want for you. And they do not want you to end your journey because their journey is over. They do not want you to not take your life to the highest potential it can be because they have moved on. And so as you look at your life and you look at the grieving process for which you have to go through and honor it out of also continuing to live. Honor it and continuing to try to be the best you can be, because that is all they want for you. And to take that energy and to go through that process and to then try to release the pain of them passing and continue to move forward in the knowledge of the joyful thought that you will be reunited with them. Until your journey is over, you still are encouraged to move forward on your path, because you do not want to miss what your purpose is in continuing to hold on to the passing of theirs. You are in a loving place, and they are looking down around you with love. Take that thought and that love with you, and don't let the passing stop you from the best that your life can be. Enter your name and email address to receive a free ebook and future videos as they become available.